Kingdom Rush is a tower defense game that has you building all different types of towers to defeat the monsters trying to invade your kingdom. They all have their own unique strengths and weaknesses, but come together as a whole to create a masterful defense. But what if you removed all but one of those towers? Can you still beat the game with only bomb towers? Before we begin, if you're enjoying the video, then a sub to the channel would be greatly appreciated. I upload every Monday. Thank you. I started by opening a new save file and setting the difficulty to Veteran, the hardest game mode, and immediately we're thrown into the first level. Since this is the tutorial, we only have access to level 1 towers and nothing else. I couldn't upgrade anything, so I kind of had to just spam bomb towers and hope I survived. During round 3, I unlocked the power to summon reinforcements, which was life-saving. Reinforcements allow you to summon 2 soldiers every so often. They will pick the first enemy they see that isn't already fighting someone else and start attacking it. The monster will then freeze in place and start fighting until they kill the soldier. This pause time allows the bomb towers to shoot at the enemies and have no chance of missing. Since the bomb towers are very powerful and slow, we need them to hit almost all of their shots to succeed, so this is very nice. The main strategy in this game is to set up a kill zone. You put some barracks down to freeze a bunch of enemies in one place and have super powerful support towers chucking nukes, arrows, and magical spells until all the enemies are dead. We can't fully do this, but the reinforcements allow us to somewhat replicate this and have a slim chance of survival. In the final round, we get access to our other secret power, Rain of Fire. This allows us to call down powerful meteors to damage our enemies. It's very nice and a good backup if enemies start to slip out of control and we need a quick solution. With all the enemies dead, I didn't even lose a life and earned myself 3 stars. Depending on how many lives you lose, you get a certain amount of stars for each level. Stars are used to buy permanent upgrades to your towers, reinforcements, and Rain of Fire. I decided to buy the first 2 upgrades for the bomb towers, which gives more attack damage and range. You might have also noticed that I got some gems after finishing the last battle. Gems can be spent in their own shop and buy completely overpowered items like 5 extra hearts, being able to freeze everything on screen, and a nuke that kills everything on screen no matter what. These felt a little cheap and scummy, so I decided to ban them. Level 2 is a lot harder than level 1. They let you know how to play the game and expect you to use it. Several of the waves were overwhelming amount of wolves that run fast and can dodge out of the way of bombs. Since I don't have the barracks to stop them all, it got a little bit rough, and I was constantly placing panic reinforcements. I lost 2 lives in the process, but thankfully I was just on the cusp of 3 stars. With the 4 stars I had, I bought an upgrade to make upgrading the bomb tower cheaper and make my reinforcements a little stronger and beefier. Level 3 had the same problem as level 2. Way too many of the waves threw way too many wolves and goblins at you to try and overwhelm your buildings. Then at the end they introduced ogres, which are big tanky beasts, and shamans who don't have as much health but can heal their own health and others. With that awful combinations, I was selling towers and rebuying them on the last level to try and clutch it out. I thankfully just managed to get it with 3 stars. I don't want to go any farther down the bomb upgrade path for now. The next thing we can buy makes a certain upgrade cheaper, but we can't use that upgrade for a couple more levels, so it's just not worth the star investment right now. Instead, I upgraded the Rain of Fire to be a little more powerful and deadly. I also unlocked my first hero. Over the course of the game, you unlock 4 heroes naturally. There are 9 other heroes that you can buy with real money, but they're way too powerful and way too expensive, so I banned them. The first hero we have access to is Sir Gerald Lightseeker. He's a knight, and having a hero is amazing. They all have special and unique attacks that are very powerful. As they fight, they also gain XP, and after a certain point they level up, which goes all the way to level 10. The 4th level gives us access to tier 3 towers, and do we ever need them? There's so many powerful enemies coming through that they were constantly tearing through my measly defense. This caused me to have to move my hero back to fight them and place random reinforcements constantly. I was moving my hero around so much that eventually I just started keeping him in the back. I had my main defense to deal some damage in the beginning, but I was mainly focusing it all in the end, where I built a backup bomb tower to help out. It was a very ugly defense, but it worked. Next up is level 5, and there's an interesting part to this level. You start with a level 3 archer. This is because a couple of waves in, you unlock one of the tier 4 archer towers and they want you to be able to try it out. But obviously we can't do that. I was a little worried you wouldn't be able to sell it, but you can, and we gain no money from it, so it's really easy to deal with. There's also this building which is basically an elf barrack, but I just never used it, so it doesn't matter. This level has 2 paths, and some very powerful enemies. Thankfully I can place a bomb here to hit both tracks, but it's still really hard to budget money for both sides. The left side spits out high health and high damage bandits that easily shank our reinforcements and slip out of the range of our bombs. The right side has a plethora of giant spiders that are terrifying, and matriarch spiders that give birth to even more spiders. I found the most efficient way to defeat all the enemies was to place tier 2 towers. This allowed them to still be powerful enough to do some damage, as well as being cheap enough for me to spam a lot of them throughout the level. I had some close calls and lost 7 lives, but no one said I had to earn 3 stars every level to beat the game. I unlocked my second hero, Illyria Swiftwind, and she was crucial to this challenge. Up until now, there have only been grounded enemies, but in the Citadel they start releasing gargoyles, and bomb towers can't target or hit flying enemies. There's way too many ways of gargoyles to just tank them all, but this is where the hero comes in. She has a bow and can shoot the gargoyles, but there's still a problem. This is a multi-lane level, and even though she can run fast, she doesn't do enough damage quick enough. In wave 5, I leaked 3 hearts. Then in wave 9, I had to face 24 more gargoyles and ended up dying to it. This isn't even the hardest level with gargoyles, and I'm already dying, so I'm gonna need a better solution. When the reinforcements are completely maxed out with stars, they get spears that they can throw at both enemies on the ground and in the sky. But we need a lot of stars that I don't have right now. Thankfully for us, there are heroic and iron challenges that you can complete for an extra challenge. None of them are too hard, and after cranking some of them out, I got enough stars for the upgrade and a little left over to keep the bomb tower strong. This time I went back and still very nearly died. Even though my reinforcements are strong enough to take the gargoyles out of the air, this level is designed around the tier 4 arcane wizard, which does a lot of damage to high armor enemies. So I was struggling to kill a lot of the normal enemies that had massive amounts of armor and a ridiculous amount of damage. With 5 lives, I made it to the end to fight the Juggernaut, our first boss. He walks really slow and shoots cannonballs that expand into groups of little minions. Thankfully, it was perfect for our bombs to take down, and after several minutes of fighting, I killed him and took my 1 star with pride. I'm not gonna lie, the next level was really easy. I just spammed tier 3 bomb towers and reinforcements and beat it. There's not really much to say. The next level was also pretty easy, but this time is for a good reason. We finally unlocked our first tier 4 tower. Each building has 2 tier 4 towers with 2 special upgrades respectively. The first one we unlock is Big Bertha. We shoot out massive bombs and have the upgrades of missiles that home onto enemies and can hit enemies in the air, and clusters that carpet bomb the surrounding area and are very useful to take out a lot of enemies at once. With all the new upgrades, I was able to sweep through it. Unfortunately, the streak of easy levels does not continue onto the Stormcloud Temple. After the last level, we unlocked Malak Hammerfury, who is an absolute beast of a hero and one of my favorites. Unfortunately though, the enemies are too strong. Out of the bottom, there are Dark Knights with high armor. These big ones are the worst. If you let one leak, you lose 3 lives, and they take forever to kill. While you're trying to micromanage them, and the trolls coming from the top, you also have Yetis, which take 5 lives and have even more health and damage. Then you have Rocket Riders on top of that, which are just awful. After they get hit once, they zoom on ahead in the level, requiring you to hit them at the beginning, or else you'll just die. Even with my reinforcements, I still got overwhelmed with everything and lost. I tried again with the archer hero, and even with her help, so many things leaked that I just couldn't hold it. I tried one more time with even better strategies and managed to make it to the end. But in the last level, we have another boss, JT. He's a big Yeti that moves fast and has a lot of health. He also freezes your towers and makes you spam the screen to free them. I tried my best, but JT was too tanky and fast for me to take him down, so I had to grind some more stars. I got all the way up to 35 stars, which let me max out the reinforcements, bomb towers, and get all but 1 Rain of Fire. This makes the Rain of Fire a death machine. It respawns 10 seconds faster and also leaves a trail of burning ground that will do damage to enemies after it's gone. I retried the level with all I had and 3-starred it. The Rain of Fire was definitely the biggest difference maker. I could use it to kill the big Dark Knights, and at the end it dealt massive damage to JT. With the next level, I unlock the other tier 4, and we're finally home free. The Tesla is one of my favorite towers in this game, and also one of the best. It shoots electricity, hitting both ground and flying enemies, and its upgrades allow it to hit up to 5 enemies in a row, and give it an extra super powerful attack. With Teslas and missiles, I now no longer have to worry about flying enemies and breeze through this level. The next one though was a little rougher. There are 2 paths and you get almost no money throughout the entire level. I was constantly panic placing reinforcements and using my Rain of Fire whenever the cooldown was up. My hero must have run a marathon throughout the entire level as well as touched every tile. I struggled my way through it and ended up just building another defense at the end because that's where most of the fighting happened. But I beat it. I unlocked the final hero, Tenchi, and started the final level of this game. There are 2 passive monsters and a cemetery for skeletons to spawn. Along with this, there are 3 demonic symbols on the floor which enemies can spawn out of, one of which is directly next to the exit. Since there are so many enemies, I could afford some powerful towers, but it was only just barely enough. After about half of the level is over, Veznan decides to start using some dark magic and putting towers in laser cages. You can spam out of them, but after a round or 2, the timer is so short and he freezes so many towers that you just have to pick which ones stay free and which ones get stunned for a little bit. I prioritized the ones in the bottom row as they were doing most of the damage and then worked my way up from there if I had the time. Towards the end, I invested all my money into towers on the left as that's where the boss would come out. And after 15 rounds of hard work, Veznan showed himself. Even though he's not as big as the other bosses, he's still a tank, and to make it worse, he spawns other troops to distract my towers. After I managed to lower his HP to 0, he refilled right back up and became the Demon King. He started walking really fast, which worried me, until I realized he doesn't spawn any enemies, so I could attack him with all my might. He blew some flames right before I killed him and got named the Defender of Linria. And that's the game. If you enjoyed watching, then make sure to like the video and hit the subscribe button as I upload every week and you don't want to miss it. If you have video ideas, then leave them down below and I'll give them a shot. Thanks for watching and have a great day.